Hello and welcome to Conversation Corner. I'm joined with Antonio Hernandez.
And I'm here with Jayme Pullen. Good to see you as always, Jayme. We got a great show lined up for you today. Let's find out what's coming up on today's show. We get the behind-the-scenes info from podcast host Elle Black of the Oversharing is Caring podcast as she runs us through the impact the popular podcast is having on young adults.
And our very own Eloise Hughes is live on the ground for us in Northampton as she speaks to this week's local heroes of the week, the Northants Little Wombles.
As always, Faye runs us through her weekly hot deals as Mother's Day approaches. She's also got some gift ideas for all those other mother figures out there.
And join me for this week's Hobby Lobby, where I challenge myself to learn origami.
Last but not least, everyone's favorite agony aunt. I'll be here to give my verdict and advice on all your life's problems. But first, joining us on set is podcast host Elle Black. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, what can you tell us about your podcast?
So I have a podcast with my best friend called Oversharing is Caring, and it comes out every Thursday, Friday, and we sit down,
Nice.
we have topics like relationship advice, night out gossip, and we get confessions in from other students, and we sit there, we read them, react to them, and I think a big part of it is, however bad you think your night was,
Right.
someone else's was much worse than yours. You
Yeah.
all enjoy it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get the idea for this podcast? How did it get started?
So my best mate was invited to start a podcast with our friend who runs it.
Right.
And they wanted a co-host, and I thought, well, I'm bigger mates, I'll do it. I like talking, I like being in front of the camera. So we did like a couple trial runs of it, and it went well, so we put it out.
Well, that's great.
So, your whole podcast itself is kind of surrounding university. So, what's going to happen after university? Are you going to carry on, or what's the deal?
So obviously Joe's already graduated, and I'm coming up to the end. So we are hoping to keep going after, because students aren't going anywhere. We still have friends at uni.
Right.
People still like it. And we do have plans, so we're doing like more interview styles now with different people, different unis, and still like doing events as well. So it's
Fair enough.
more than the podcast as well.
Right. You just mentioned different unis. Are you planning on expanding other than Northampton? Are you just going for the whole UK, or how's that?
So every now and then we get a few confessions from like other unis, like
Right.
from our mates. So through word of mouth it comes out like that, but hopefully we do want to start going to other unis and doing more on-campus content with them and night out content with them as well,
Oh, that's great.
to branch out.
So, the confessions, have you got a favourite one that you don't mind sharing?
Oh.
We get so many, but I don't think there's any I can think of right now that I could say.
Not
anyone
PG,
knows, yeah.
Fair enough.
And do you ever do any live events for all your viewers and for the people residing in Northampton? Does that ever come up?
We've done one live show so
Right.
far. Just I don't know, we did actually. And then
Okay.
to celebrate our first year anniversary, we're doing a live roast.
Congrats.
Where people are coming, they're going to roast me and Joe. And then that's in 12th of March, I believe. And then on the 17th of April, there's a bar crawl, an Easter bar crawl for everyone to get involved with, and tickets are available actually.
It's not just students, is it? It's everyone can anyone that can go, can't they?
Yeah, anyone can grab a ticket,
Fair enough.
pick a team, get a t-shirt, and come along. It'll be a great night, yeah.
Nice. Maybe we should go.
We
Yeah.
should go, yeah, why not? Have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into more brand deal stuff. So you have a brand deal with hairdressers, don't you?
We do. So our current sponsor is the Neighbourhood on Welly Road. It's a barber shop, and we film our podcast in their barbers, and they have a £5 like student deal for first haircut. So if you get for a fiver, it's all right.
Yeah. Well, if you're a
That's nice.
student,
Yeah.
if you're a student, get yourself down there, £5 haircut.
We could use a trim.
We could use a trim, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dot Media, who like kind of run your podcast, who are they? What do they do? How did you get in contact with them?
So it first was Student Dot, which is the branch that we work with, just us actually, and it's a graduate from Northampton, and he wanted to start a media company, so he started with podcasts, and then they've now expanded to doing music videos, documentaries. They go on tour with local musicians from Northampton. Yeah,
Wow.
it's really good. Yeah,
Interesting. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there today, Elle, but thank you for joining us.
for having me.
And remember, you can listen and watch Oversharing is Caring on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hughes with our Heroes of the Week.
Thanks, guys. I'm here in the streets of Northampton with the Northampton Litter Wombles, and I'm here with Shelley to answer some questions about litter picking. So, Shelley, what got you into litter picking personally for you?
Well, I've got a friend, Russ, who has been doing litter picking at our workplace. We work at Bridge, and he's been taking out the members every week for about a year, and I kept seeing them coming back, and they were like always really like feeling good about themselves, and showing us photos of how many bags they'd picked up and what a nice time they'd had having a chat and getting to know each other. And I've lived in this street for like 23 years, and I've always thought, oh, I could do a little bit of that. And then obviously recently the Little Womble's been promoting a lot on Facebook and stuff. So but obviously I didn't want to do it on my own. And so that was part of the attraction of joining the Little Wombles, because they do it as a group. So then I contacted the lab and to see if anyone else was there, because they're really about community and developing the local community. So I contacted them and they put me in touch with another member who's also a neighbour, so she lives on the other street. So we started doing Monday mornings. It was my idea to do Monday mornings because I don't work on Mondays, and I find I get a little bit too relaxed on a Monday morning. And I thought, well, it'll get me up, get me motivated for the day, make me feel good. So so we started Monday mornings, and now me and Jane have got to know each other, which is really lovely. And we spend like most Monday mornings together, and sometimes we have a coffee. And obviously the lab have said that we can have a coffee with them afterwards if we want to. And so yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. What sort of impact do you feel you have on the community? As you said, you live here, so I imagine you would see it more for yourself, stepping out your house and seeing it nice and clean. How does that feel?
Yeah, obviously the day after we've done a litter picket, it's lovely, but it does get littered sort of quickly, really. But what a lot of the things that we're sort of trying to do is get to know our community as well. So sometimes we knock on doors or we talk to people as they're walking by, so to try and promote why we're doing it, because a lot of people say to us, why do you bother, because it's just littered again the next day. But I suppose we want to sort of like have a sort of, what's the word, like an effect, sort of a ripple effect, so gradually affect other people. Like if they see us doing it, maybe they'll be more like thoughtful before they throw their rubbish away, or they might tell a friend, or so it will just pass on. And so we just want to, we're just hoping that people will just think about it more. We also obviously want to let the council know. Obviously the Little Wombles are trying to get the council to put more public bins out, because basically they took about 9 bins, public bins away from this area. So now people haven't got anywhere to put their rubbish. So, understandably, they just litter. So some of them, are putting we put some pop-up bins now. We leave some of those out, and people do use them. So obviously some people do want to actually, put their rubbish in a bag, but other people are still littering. But so I guess I think we have an impact on the community by sort of connecting people, like our neighbours, and also we're getting to know each other, and it's just a nice feeling, really.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, if you had a message for people out there in the community, what would it be?
Think about what you're doing, like take your litter home, obviously. I know it's not always difficult, and I know it's always easy, but also people like the shopkeepers, they need to think about what they're providing, because they sell obviously a lot of the stuff that is then littered. How are they contributing? They should maybe provide some bins, and then the council obviously need to think about providing some bins as well. I think everyone's sort of responsible if everyone does their bit. We've also noticed a lot of landlords potentially are putting it's not litter, it's more like big fly tipping, which really affects like the atmosphere here, because it makes you feel like people don't care, but it's actually landlords that are doing it, and it's not necessarily the residents that are doing it. So a lot of people are involved, and need to think about what they're doing, really, and care about the community, and realise how it makes you feel when you live in a nice clean place. You feel good about yourself and everyone feels good. And so just think about what you're doing, really, and just take your litter home and don't dump your litter.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us. Thanks, guys. Back to you in the studio.
No, thank you for that, Eloise.
Oh,
What they do is really inspiring,
It
isn't
is really inspiring.
And they deserve a big thank you for doing it.
Honestly,
so thank you guys for doing it. And just throw your rubbish in the bin, guys. It's not hard.
Thank you to the Little Wombles, and take care of the environment. Now to what I'm personally really excited for. Faye joins us to run us through her hot Mother's Day deals. What do you got for us, Faye?
So the first thing I thought I'd talk about is chocolate, because what mum would not appreciate a lovely box of chocolates on Mother's Day. But what I found first is something a bit different to the typical box of chocolates. So there's a company online called Choc and Choc, and they deliver chocolate straight to your doors. But the chocolate that they make is slightly different. So it's a more of a creative take on a typical box of chocolates. And they make things in the shape of cheese boards, packets of biscuits, bottles of champagne. They even make like nurse kits that have like stethoscopes and syringes and stuff like that in it. So yeah, it's a bit of a creative take on it. And like I said, they deliver straight to your door, so you don't need to go out and pick it up. And if you don't see your mum on Mother's Day, you can deliver it straight to her house. And they sort of range between £7.50 to up to £20, depending on what size chocolates you get. But yeah, I thought it was a creative take on typical
100%.
box chocolates.
It is, yeah.
But because they're a bit more expensive, something that I found more budget friendly maybe is typical boxes of chocolates. So here is the Tesco selection box, which is £3.50 or £3 with your club card. I do have samples for you if you'd like to have a try. And yeah, there's a nice variety of chocolates in there, all different flavours and things like that. So that's a more budget-friendly one.
They taste nice.
These are nice, yeah.
Yeah, and then something a little bit different is the Bailey's limited edition chocolates, which is the strawberries and cream flavours, which is available in all B&M stores, and they're £2.99 a box.
Perfect.
Nice.
Affordable for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
My mum would love these. She does have a bit of a sweet tooth.
She would love them.
Yeah. What can you tell us about these flowers you got here?
Yeah, so again, what mum would not appreciate, a lovely bunch of flowers for Mother's Day. So these are from the Marks and Spencer's florist, which you can access online or in store.
Nice.
But if you order online, they deliver straight to your door. So they have a wide range of colours and varieties of flowers and things like that. And at the moment, they're doing 15% off with the Marks and Sparks Club.
Great.
And yeah, if you can't see your mum, can't get to her, if you're busy, if she lives far away, you can deliver a fresh bunch of flowers to her door for Mother's Day to show how much you appreciate and love her.
Perfect.
That's super nice.
And finally, what can you tell us about this buy a gift?
Yes, so Buy a Gift is a great website when you're looking for gifts for people, because you can buy them something that you can experience together and you can create memories and it will last a lifetime. But the experience in particular that I've chosen to look into is an afternoon tea at the Aqua in the Shard. And it is a bit more on the pricey side. It is £70 per person, but it is a very luxury gift and it is something that your mum will really appreciate. And it's a Peter Pan themed afternoon tea and everything gets delivered in a big pirate ship. And there's like dry ice on it and it's unlimited,
cool.
like
Really
cakes and sandwiches and stuff. And you can upgrade this to have unlimited Prosecco for £90 per
nice.
person. So yeah, it is a bit of a luxury gift, but every mum will really appreciate it.
I know my mum deserves it.
She would.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Faye. And
Thank
do you
you.
want to...
Yeah, and I just wanted to say a happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
nice.
Yeah.
So remember to tune in next week to hear Faye's outfit ideas for St. Patrick's Day.
So, Jamie,
Yes.
time to see your hobby of the week. Let's see what you've been up to.
Hi guys, and welcome back to this week's Hobby Lobby, where I am going to be trying to make a butterfly origami. So, first step is to take one of the corners and fold it up towards the other corner. Just like that, and smooth the creases. Unfold and do the same thing with the opposite corner. Next, we're going to turn it 90 degrees and we're going to fold it up like such. And finally, we're going to unfold it, turn it, and just do the same thing this side. Just like that. So now we have all of the folds that we need to follow to make the butterfly. So the next step is the hardest. We're going to need to follow these two lines and fold everything downwards. So take the sides, follow the lines and fold it in and down. Just like that. Make sure to crease all of the edges. Now we're left with this little weird thing, which is okay because we're going to take this top bit and we're going to fold it downwards. Just like that. So now we have a little hat. So the next step is we're going to take one of the sides, we're going to follow this line and we're going to fold it upwards just so a little bit hangs over the edge. Just like this, and we're going to copy it for the other side. So now we have a little dog with ears. So now we're going to turn it over, and we're going to grab this bit, we're going to fold it all downwards. just so we have a little bit hanging over. Just a little bit hanging over. So we're going to turn it round, take this little bit and fold it up. Just like so. And then we're going to fold this side into this side, just like this. Fold all of the creases down. And then you open it and you have a little butterfly. So I hope those steps were easy to follow so you can follow along at home, and remember to join me next week for my next Hobby Lobby. There you go guys, I hope those steps were easy to follow like I said, and if you want to follow along at home and make one yourself, there you go.
These are cool, man.
Thank you, and remember to join me next week where I'll be learning how to crochet.
Nice.
But now we're moving on to everyone's favourite time of the week. It's Agony Aunt.
Agony Aunt.
So the first person that sent something is Alison from Aylesbury. Let's see what she's got to say.
I found out that my dad is cheating on my stepmom. I think I'm the only person who knows. Do I tell her or do I talk to my dad first?
Difficult one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Thank you for that, Alison. Bottom line is you should tell your stepmom, maybe speak to your father first, depending on the relationship you have with them. But the truth has to come out. Honesty is always the best policy. So tell your stepmom what's happening to her is horrible, and speak to your dad about it first, but your stepmom needs to know. What do you think, Jayme?
Like you said, the sooner you tell either or party, the better it's going to be. So even if you can only tell your dad or can only tell your stepmom, just tell someone. The sooner the better. It's awful what it is, but the sooner you tell them, the better it's going to be. So thank you for the question, Alison. I hope that helped. Next up, we're going to listen to Riley from Sheffield.
My parents have very strong political views that I don't agree with. I don't mind them having their own opinions, but they're trying to force it onto me. How do I tell them to stop?
Thank you for that, Riley.
Politics of anyone's a difficult subject.
Super hard. But bottom line is, I think you should be able to speak to your parents and tell them that you're not comfortable with that topic and that your opinions differ, and that's okay. Because people have differing opinions all the time, and that's fine, and that shouldn't impede on your relationship with your parents. But if they are forcing it onto you, have a serious conversation with them and tell them that's off limits for you, and they should respect that.
If they don't respect it and you are a little bit older, you might be thinking about moving into your own house, or you might be looking for a house now. And if you're going to live by yourself, you're not going to be on top of your parents all the time. So that conversation isn't going to be happening all the time. So if they are quite strict and they do shove it down your throat, just wait a little bit longer until you're by yourself, and they're not going to be there to shove it down your throat. So thank you for sharing, Riley. Next up, we're going to move on to Sarah from Ipswich.
I think my mother-in-law will ruin my wedding. She really tried to get me to return my dream dress. How do I tell my fiancé that I don't want his mum there? As I know that
Thank you
she's
for that,
trying to
Sarah.
ruin the day.
I think get her gone. Honestly, if a wedding day is very simple. It's for you and your spouse and everybody else that's watching, but it's your day. And if you're going to have someone there that's not going to respect your day and it's not going to let you enjoy it and it's going to make you actively uncomfortable, she shouldn't be there. Do speak it over with your spouse, have a sit down with your spouse, and then have a sit down with your mother-in-law. But if she decides that she wants to be an impediment on your wedding, then she shouldn't be there, honestly. It's a day for you and your spouse to enjoy.
Well, like you said, it's your guys' day, it's not her day. So, and again, you said it, sit down with your spouse, talk to them about it, and tell them how you feel about their mum. And if they don't agree, then that's a bigger issue that you need to sort out quickly. So it's your guys' day, don't let anyone ruin it. So hopefully that helps, Sarah. And now we're going to move on to Lauren in Coventry.
Let's find out.
It's non-uniform day at my son's school next week. He wants to wear a dress. How do I approach this?
All right. Thank you for that. That is a bit of a touchy subject. My opinion is go out, buy the dress for your son, let him wear it. But do speak to him about what can happen, because kids are not very accepting usually, and they might be mean, and not everybody's going to be as open, and it's not going to be necessarily a super safe space. So speak it over with your child, tell him how it could go, and also speak it over with the school staff, because if something happens, it shouldn't happen, but if something does happen, the only people that are going to be there to help your son is the school staff. So let your son discover himself and wear what he wants, but do, talk with him about what could happen and the school staff. That's very important.
Perfect.
But that's all for this week's Agony Aunt. Remember to send in your issues and scenarios using the link on screen for a chance to feature in next week's show, with the topic being relationship dilemmas.
Unfortunately, that wraps up this week's Conversation Corner. So thank you to all the guests that featured, and of course you guys are watching at home. Tune in next week to hear more inspiring stories. Thank you, and goodbye from me.
And a bye-bye from me. Goodbye.
Bye.
That was good. I like that.